Maybe you put it in your purse.
No, it's not here. It's not here, Rosie.
Okay, don't panic.
Don't panic. It's a 5-carat diamond ring.
When an ordinary citizen gets mugged, the police shrug their shoulders. When a Bollywood star claims she's been robbed, they're mobilized within minutes.
Okay, one of you has the ring. It's still not too late to confess. Miss Kapoor will not press charges if you return it. Huh?
They're mobilized within minutes.
No one. Sir, do you suspect anyone in particular?
Raja scans the circus of employees and rests his eyes on me.
This girl spent the maximum time with Priya.
What? You're accusing me of stealing the ring?
Tiwari, Negi, search her bag.
Ji sir.
Chalo.
Madam, bag please.
And rests his eyes. Fine, here.
Hey sir, there's nothing here, sir.
Thank you.
What kind of search do you call that?
क्या?
Search her properly.
What?
She might have hidden it somewhere on a person.
So Raja said they would.
Let me show you.
Take your hands off me. Stop it!
Sir, please.
Someone stop him for God's sake!
Sir, please, sir, step aside. We will handle this, sir. Oh, okay.
I was just trying to help.
A female constable.
Yes, sir.
Take her into the back room.
Yes, sir. Chalo.
Check her properly.
I'm led away in front of the entire sales staff to be stripped and prodded. I close my eyes and wish the earth would swallow me whole.
Sapna,
Huh?
are you okay?
Yeah.
You know, what happened to you was really not right, yeah. Sachi mein. I'm to totally never going to watch another Priya Kapoor film.
It's okay, Neelam. I'll just organize these files and I'll go home.
You want me to drop you home?
No, I've called a friend. Thanks.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Take care.
As I file away the album Priya autograph for the manager, I hear a metallic jangling. There it is, lodged between the metal coils. Priya's ring. I could let it lie here and pretend I didn't find it. I could take it to the cops. Or, Karan, before I know it, it's in my pocket.
I got here as soon as I could. What happened? I think you should keep it.
Really?
Of course. What a bitch, yeah, accusing everyone like that. She doesn't deserve to get it back. Hey, idiot, use your eyes, man. Okay, देव क्या मार दो.
Let it be, Karan.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You know, I could just kill them all for treating you like that.
My grip around his waist tightens. At the end of the day, no matter what happens, at least I have Karan. It's only when I'm lying in bed that night that I dare to take the ring out. I would have to work 100 years to afford something as beautiful as this. I slip the ring on. It fits perfectly. Maybe I am meant to have it. Maybe it's my reward for the way I was treated.
Didi? What's that?
Nothing, someone just gave it to me.
Was it Karan?
No, Neha.
It was Karan. I knew it. So it's official, huh? Did you tell Ma?
Nothing like that. We're just friends, okay? Go to sleep.
Friends. What podcast? I've seen the way you two look at each other. आँखों ही आँखों में इशारा हो गया. Shh.
Listen, don't tell anyone about this, okay? Not Ma, not anyone.
Just chill, yeah, Didi.
And it's not Karan, understand?
Okay, whatever you say.
The next morning, on the train to work, I do something audacious. I actually wear the ring. I rotate my wrist. I want people to notice it. The size and sparkle. To think that I'm someone special.
You can stay, sir. Please just stay in that corner.
What's happening?
कोई VVIP आ रहा है मैडम कोई VVIP आ
Who is it? The very, very important person turns out to be a local legislator, Anwar Noorani,
Hello ji, namaste.
taking the metro ride to apparently bond with the common man. I've read about him in the papers, how he runs a chain of private hospitals allegedly funded by the proceeds from an illegal Hawala racket.
Hey, how are you?
His restless eyes flit across the compartment and come to rest on me.
Hello, how are you, sister?
He flashes me a plastic smile.
If there are any local issues you wish to bring to my attention, please feel free to call me. Here, please take my card.
Here,
Hello, uncle.
status is not based on whether you wear Armani, drive a Mercedes, or wear a diamond ring. Your status is determined by how many rules you can break. It's true of Priya Kapoor, it's true of Gulati and his odious son Raja, and it's true of...
Sir, we need to go, sir. Time is up. Your car is waiting outside. Come,
Okay. Goodbye. God bless you all. Ram, 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 ji.
Side, please. Let him through, sir. Sir, गाड़ी लेके आओ, please. गाड़ी लेके आओ.
That's when it hits me. Even if I wear a real diamond, people will assume it's a fake. And even if Priya Kapoor wears a fake diamond, people will think it's real. I realize in that moment that this ring will bring me nothing but pain.
So we're doing a special promotion in Infinitron.
पिक्चर क्वालिटी नहीं रहती है जो ये
But if I return it now, I will be branded a thief.
So, can I?
Hello, police. I have some information. Oh, Raja sir, sorry, I didn't know you were here.
No, it's okay. Come.
Look, I want to apologize
Eh?
for making such a fuss. I mean, I was the obvious suspect. I was with Priya Kapoor all day and I was...
You know, I don't think an apology will cut it. How about a hug? Arey, come on, yaar. Don't be so shy. Oh, so the ice is finally melted, huh?
I guess so.
Hey, how about I take you out for a drink? Huh?
But I have to get back to work and...
Hey, don't worry about work, yaar. I'm the boss here.
Okay, I'll just get my things.
Okay, I'll be waiting. Oh, good evening, officers. Any news on the missing ring?
Chalo.
Huh?
Turn around.
What?
Hands against the wall, chal.
Hey, wait. Listen to me.
Please be quiet, sir. Please be quiet. Just
Search him.
Why are you searching me? I'm the owner of the showroom.
what is this?
Huh? No. I don't know how that got there. No.
Staff gather at the back door to see what all the commotion is. We watch as Raja is handcuffed and bundled into a police jeep. The next day, it's on the front page of every newspaper. Wayward son of electronics retailer steals actress's diamond ring. On the train home, I can't stop smiling. I feel a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. But then... Hello?
Sapna Sinha,
Yes?
please hold. I have Mr. Acharya.
Congratulations. You have passed the third test, the test of integrity.
Are you setting
You
up...
may be asking yourself if these tests are staged by me or my
Hello?
associates.
Hello?
What I would say in reply is that it's life that deals the cards and you play the hand. I am merely the croupier who announces the results. I apologize for the impersonal nature of this message. Business takes me beyond reach. Congratulations.
If what I did counts as integrity in the world of business, I know now I want no part of it. I must fail the next test. I really must. It's Sunday morning, and the peace of our colony is disrupted by a new sound. Good morning, class.
Good morning, didi.
teach my weekly English class of children from the slum. But today, something is different. So who can tell me where the others are? Aarti? Why didn't Raju come?
He won't be coming anymore.
Why?
Candy van took him away.
Candy van. Took him where?
Factory.
What factory?
Ani's wife's factory in MCD colony. They're hiring now. The candy van came. They gave us sweets, toys, many good jobs for us.
Can you show me this factory?
क्या चाहिए?
Anis bhai hai?
Saab is not here. Who are you?
Anis bhai sent me to handle the inventory.
Inventory.
Yes, open the door.
कहाँ से आए हो?
Don't worry, I know my way around.
अरे
It's worse than I thought. A sweatshop run by child labor alone. Half of them have bandages on their fingers. With so many accidents, it's not surprising they need the candy van to recruit more children. Raju? Raju? What are you doing here? You're supposed to come for English tuitions on Sundays, na?
Sorry, Didi, but I have a job now.
Does your mother know you're here?
My mother sent me here, Didi. It's good money. I need to take care of my family now.
So many futures. Stolen forever.
Madam, who are you?
It doesn't matter.
What do you want here?
Nothing, I was just leaving.
Wait, who are you?
The next morning, before work, I go to the police station. Sir, I'm looking for Senior Inspector Gill.
Saab does not come before 11 o'clock.
You can discuss what you want with me.
I want to report an illegal child labor scam.
खान जरा वो जमानत के पेपर वाले चेक करो.
So they're using this van to go around the slums and they're offering sweets and presents to children to lure them to work for them, sir.
कंप्लेंट लिखवाओगे आप इसके बारे में?
I spend the next half an hour telling him everything, writing out a report and signing various forms. And I leave with assurances that the matter will be fully investigated.
अगर आपको इसके बारे में सवाल
But days pass and the recruitment van continues to come, offering sweets, luring the children away to a bleak future, like the Pied Piper. There's no sign of my complaint having any effect. But then, one evening...
Hey, there are two men at the door asking for you.
For me? What do they want?
Don't know. Didn't ask. Ma, this is the program I want to be in. I have to apply.
Neha, I'm not sending you to Mumbai all by yourself.
Didi can come with me. You'll come, no? Didi?
Star number 1, season 5 starts at 9 p.m.
Hello, madam.
Yes? In front of me are two men who look like they have just stepped out of Tihar jail.
You lodged a complaint.
Who are you?
We are just concerned citizens.
Concerned for you. Huh?
For me.
Stop interfering in other people's businesses or we will cut off your...
Nothing. Let me handle this now. See, madam, these are very bad people. You understand?
You expect me to do nothing.
What is nothing, madam?
It is an offense to solicit children.
You stay out of our business or we will cut...
Madam ji, just consider this as friendly advice. Chal, Ram.
I was naive to think the police would do something. They're probably paid off by the gangs. As I lock the door, something falls from my pocket. It's a business card. On it is printed, Anwar Noorani, legislator.
Number 47. Inside, please.
Please come this way, madam. Please sit here.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Yes, sister.
Sir, we had met on the train. You had given me your card. You said if there are any local issues to bring to your attention, to call you.
Yes.
I called many times, there was no answer.
What to do? I have so many people to serve, you are seeing yourself. But I am here in front of you now. How can I help you?
Sir, children in my area are being recruited and sent to work in this factory in MCD colony.
Yes.
Employing children under 14 is an offense.
Very sad situation. But that is why it is a matter not of policy but for the police.
Sir, I've been to the police, nothing has been done.
इंस्पेक्टर साहब को ये भी बात बता देना.
Yes.
Okay, sister. Thank you for bringing to our attention.
Sir, but what?
Yes.
चलिए please madam.
We'll check
Wait, don't touch me. Sir, this is a very serious matter. The police are turning a blind eye. It is your responsibility to do something for these children.
Have any of these children been forced to work?
No, but they're too young to know any better.
And who will provide for their families, madam, once they lose their jobs, eh?
It comes with full internet access, so you can watch YouTube directly on the TV. I go back to work feeling disheartened. Download songs or powerless.
Can I watch normal service?
What?
Normal service.
I don't know what that means, sir. What hope is there for a society where criminals, politicians, and the police all collude to enrich themselves, while children are being robbed of their futures? From the station, I take the long way home, through the Japanese park, near our colony.
Hey, Chori. Don't you know it's dangerous to walk alone at night? Sapna, na? Sapna Sinha.
I'm sorry, I don't know you.
Hey, Sapna, why are you in such a hurry? Huh? We're just talking to you, huh?
I try to study their faces so I can report them to the police later. But then I see the knife.
Please, take my money, but leave me alone.
We're not interested in your money, darling.
I think of Ma and Neha and how they will manage without me.
Hold your hand steady now.
Then the strangest thing happens. They drop the knife. I grab hold of it tightly.
She got the knife? She's got the knife.
Stay back! What do you want from me?
I don't think nothing. We were just fooling around. Hey, police!
Karan?
What happened?
Thank God. Thank God.
You're shaking. You better give me that knife before you hurt someone. Good. Did they hurt you?
No.
Okay, then let's go straight to the police.
No, not the police. I know what this is about.
You do?
I went to Anwar Noorani to complain about those recruitment vans.
You did what?
He's our local legislator, I thought.
No, he's also a mafia don. Sapna, you shouldn't go near those people. Hey, it's okay. It's okay, I'm here.
What would I have done without you, Karan?
I'm taking you home. Come.
Hi, Mom. Ma? Neha?
Sapna, where have you been? Look who's here.
Hello, sister.
What's happening?
Did you see the news? Look.
A number of arrests have been made, including the owner of the factory where many of the children.
I told you to contact me if there were any local issues. No, sister? Now see what I can do.
You shut down the factory.
Of course. I could not sit by and see children exploited like this.
Please sit. I'll go bring some snacks.
It is not necessary, madam ji. क्यों तकलीफ ले रही हैं?
बैठिए ना बैठिए. Sit.
ठीक है. What happened to your face, sister?
I got attacked in the park.
Attacked?
It was revenge for this.
Impossible. You won't be hearing from anyone connected with this scheme ever again.
How can you be so sure?
I have my ways, sister.
But then who?
Good morning.
Mr. Acharya?
Oh, is he expecting you?
Probably. He seems to know everything I do. I'll see myself in Janet.
Miss Sinha. 1 second, Miss Sinha.
Sapna.
Don't tell me I passed another one of your tests.
I'm so sorry, sir, but she just.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, you have passed another test.
the test of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to act in spite of it. And you've done very well.
How dare you? I don't know what you consider reasonable standards of decency, Mr. Acharya, but sending goons in the middle of a night to attack a single woman in a park is way, way beyond anything acceptable to any sane thinking person. Do you think you own me? Just because I signed up? Because I humored you for a moment? What you have paid me does not compensate for what you've put me through. I have not signed up for this. And you, Mr. Acharya, need help. If you think that people are your playthings to be tested and manipulated for your private sick entertainment.
Goons?
You're insane. I'm out of this.
This was nothing to do with me.
They knew my name. How did they know my name?
Do you think if I wanted to help you, I'd have people attack you in the park?
Sure. You want to help me?
I want you to run my company. What you've shown me by standing up for those poor children is that you're not afraid to put yourself in danger for what you believe is right. Look how you've changed, Sapna, since the tests began.
What do you mean?
Would you have helped that girl in the village? Would you have returned that ring? You have found an inner strength that you didn't know you had. You've been asleep, Sapna, ever since your sister died. I am helping you find yourself again.
Why me?
I'm a great benefactor. I've given money to charities, I've set up foundations, I've helped many people, but I wanted to help just one person for a change.
Why me?
I read your story in the papers. Your sister's suicide, your father's car accident. Well, I felt something for you.
But you don't know me.
No. This is my daughter, Gia.
She's pretty.
Killed herself 6 years ago over an exam result.
I'm sorry.
I know what it's like to carry a burden, to blame yourself. I want to help you.
Then release me from this contract.
Why?
Because I don't trust you, that's why. And I will never work for someone I don't trust. I'm terminating this contract.
You can't, I'm afraid. This is only your 4th test, and you have 3 more to complete.
I will deliberately fail.
How will you do that when you don't know what the tests are? I'm sorry, Sapna. You signed a contract. You have to honor the terms.
And the 7th test continues next week at the same time. It's adapted by Ayesha Menon and John Dryden from the novel The Accidental Apprentice by Vika Swarup. Sapna is played by Rasika Dugal, Acharya Vijay Krishna, Karan Neil Bhupalam, Nirmala Ben and Rosie Radhika Mittal, Sapna's mother Shernes Patel, Raja Sumit Vyas, Kuldeep Singh and Roaji Rajit Kapoor, Neha Amrita Puri, Priya Pushpa and the judge Ayesha Raza, Badan Singh, the politician and the constable Kenny Desai, Madan Vivek Madan, Neelam Prerna Chola, Babi and Janet Pritika Chola, and the rent collector Sachit Puranik. The 7th test is produced in India by Nadir Khan, directed by John Dryden, and it's a Goldhawk Essential production for the BBC.
The Comedy Club on BBC Radio 4 Extra.
I'm joined by my guest, Deborah Francis White. Hello.
Hello, Richard Herring.
Let's talk about your podcast.
Yes, I've
The
got
Guilty
a podcast.
Feminist
Yeah, I've got
podcast.
a podcast called The Guilty Feminist. Yes, it's a podcast I do with Sophie Hagen.
Yeah.
And of late, we've had some guest hosts.
Yes.
We've had Sarah Pascoe.
Oh, amazing.
Felicity Ward.
Great.
Lolly Adefope
Oh, yes.
coming up. Jessica Foster-Key. Then we have guests, and we talk about a theme
Yes.
that you might feel like it needs discussing with a feminist filter. But we are guilty feminists, so we always start with "I'm a feminist," but
Yes.
and we admit things about our feminism.
Are there any good? I enjoy these guilty feminists. I think
Yeah.
it's a lovely start to the podcast because it also gives people permission not to be
It's
brilliant
accessible.
at everything. You know,
Exactly.
we all fail a little bit.
Exactly. I said recently, I'm a feminist, but I would trade one of my votes in one election, as long as I was an incredibly safe seat, I would trade it for Jennifer Aniston's hair for life. If I'm going to win anyway.
Yeah. I enjoyed Susan Calman on your podcast. She also came on my podcast, but Susan Calman...
she's brilliant. It was a controversial episode,
Was
Richard.
it? Yeah.
The most controversial we've ever had.
Right.
Because it was about not having children.
Right.
And Susan picked the title, and because she said she wanted to talk about being a woman and just choosing not to have children, not being able to have them, not missing out, just not wanting them, and actively being happy about that.
Yeah.
And she said because she's a lesbian, people always assume in a lesbian couple you've got two wombs.
Yes.
So you'll have more children, be doubly maternal.
Yes.
And she said we didn't want children, various reasons, but we didn't want them, and she finds children quite boring. But a lot of people said, oh, well, I'm a mother and it made me feel like I was boring for being a mother. And that wasn't the intention. It was more a little space for women without children to talk.
Of course, yeah, just because someone talks about their own lifestyle, that is not then, it's not a criticism of that.
No, but we did make some criticisms. But because we were without child between us, we had one child between us, which looked like laziness to a lot of people, I think. I think people think sometimes women without children, if you then criticise either children or parents, you're sort of a monster.
Yeah.
I think if any of us had had a child and been going, oh yeah, I totally agree, I can't wait to get away from the mothers and babies group because it's so dull. All the mothers would have gone, absolutely. Because all people feel that sometimes, parents or not parents. But that was our most controversial episode, and I'm really surprised by that because we've done more controversial topics.
Well, people are very weird about it because, like, as someone who didn't have children for a long time and then have a small child, you're aware as a comedian that people are going to go, oh, don't talk about you mustn't talk about your kids in your act, and it'll make you not funny and it will change you. But I've really noticed, like, people. If I ever mentioned my daughter, which I did not that often, people would go, oh, no, you got a baby, it's so boring talking about your baby all the time. And they're so on the lookout for you as a comedian changing and being boring about your child.
Yeah.
And before I had a child, they weren't going, oh, look at you being boring talking about all your life. But, it's sort of interesting that people are looking for it. So there's a double thing going on there. So,
and I did understand that if you were at home with a new baby, feeling really cut off, tuning into your podcast to commune with other women who you really look forward to listening to because this is my little space, my baby's asleep, and then they're going, oh, mother's boring. It would be hurtful. So I did feel sad about that, and I did say sorry. The thing is, I have now got to the point where I take it as a compliment. If somebody writes in and says, I didn't feel included last week, you made a joke that I think was not inclusive of disabled people and I'm disabled, or I think you said something that's not inclusive of trans people and I'm trans, I now go, do you know what? It's really great you can come to me and expect and demand inclusion. Most places in life, you assume a certain amount of either being ignored or excluded. And I'm obviously providing a space where you can actually express anger that you're not included. That's a huge compliment. Mm-hmm. That someone can go, include me. You said you're including everyone. Why am I not included?
I love in comedy transgressing boundaries of all kinds and saying the wrong thing. And often you do that in order to highlight how ridiculous that point of view is, or just to test your own opinion about something. But that means that the people have to trust you, and you hope after however many episodes of whatever you've done that people go, well, he said this, but he said something that sounded a bit sexist, but maybe given in the other ones he didn't say stuff sexist, maybe there's a reason for doing that,
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a cheap laugh, which it sometimes is with me.
Yeah, I think it's when you make people feel excluded who are already ritually excluded or systemically excluded. I then say, I then question, what are you doing and why are you doing it? And what I've started saying to comedians recently is the better a comedian you are, and the funnier your jokes are, the more clear you have to be about what point you're making. Because if you're a really good comedian and your jokes are really funny, then they'll have great power.
Yeah.
And if then that idea can travel really fast, jokes are really viral. I found that really works because comedians then go, well, I am a really good comedian, so my work is powerful, and therefore I do need to understand the power I'm wielding. And that's the best argument I've been able to come up with for comedians.
Yeah.
If you're any good, you better know what you're saying.
The Comedy Club on BBC Radio 4 Extra every night from 10.
The digital station on radio, TV and online. BBC Radio 4 Extra.
Now, in the 1920s and 30s, no British seaside resort was complete without its troupe of Pierrots, who in their traditional costume of white satin, pom-poms and ruffles entertained holidaymakers with comedy sketches, dance routines, and live music, often performing in the open air, whatever the weather. The founding father of the British Pierrot troupe was Clifford Essex, a banjo teacher who took a troupe to perform at the Henley Regatta in 1891, and in doing so created a light entertainment phenomenon. Tony Liddington reads the first part of Pierrot Hero, the story of Clifford Essex.
In 1891, I was teaching the banjo, which was in those days an exciting new instrument. One of my students was a gentleman who worked at the stock exchange. He regularly asked me down to his very cosy bachelor quarters at Isha for weekends. On one of these jaunts, I met a colleague of his, whom he introduced as a banjo fiend. We naturally brought out our banjos, and I found him endowed with a natural ear for music, a good voice, and quite a turn of skill. We soon got doing vocal and instrumental stunts together, to the great delight of the assembled company. Other meetings at weekends followed, and as a consequence, our repertoire gradually increased. Then, like most amateurs who find they can do something a bit better than their fellows, he expressed a desire to give the public a taste of his quality, and to this end suggested that we join his forthcoming coach party to the Epsom races, for which we would dress up as minstrels by blacking our faces and then perform with our banjos on the racecourse. This idea didn't appeal to me in the slightest. I pointed out that the habitual racecourse buskers would resent our appearance as an unwarrantable intrusion on their time-honoured preserves, and that we should quickly have bags of flour chucked over us, or quite possibly worse. But in the back of my mind, this gave rise to a scheme which it seemed to me might have a much better chance of success, in a quite different direction. I'd always been very keen on the river, and had been a regular guest at Henley Regatta on various friends' houseboats, where I couldn't help but notice the general vulgarity of musical entertainments on offer, and how the black-faced minstrel buskers in particular were often given £0.50 not to perform. Suppose we were to go to Henley Regatta, I said, but not as minstrels, as Pierrots. I explained that I'd recently been to a production of L'Enfant Prodigue at the Prince of Wales Theatre, starring Mademoiselle Jane May as a Pierrot in a whole family or troupe of Pierrots. So I pointed out that at Henley the white outfits in the sunshine would look a lovely, distinct novelty among all the flannels, and provide something totally different from anything else there. There were no such things as costume concert parties in those days, and I realised that the field was wide open for a novel way of representing a group of musicians using Pierrot costumes and makeup, which would be in marked contrast to the vulgarity of so many of the busking fraternity. The idea took hold, and so I asked my old friend Arthur Collins of Drury Lane, who was a great riverman, to look at the venture from a showman's point of view as well as the river aspect. Rather to my surprise, he said, "It's a brilliant idea, and if your show is all right, Cliff, it'll be the hit of the regatta." That was distinctly encouraging. So I went to another old friend, Jack Harrison, the theatrical costumier and popular honorary secretary of the Eccentric Club, to tell him my scheme. He was as enthusiastic about it as Arthur Collins had been, and I forthwith placed an order for the costumes with his firm. We'd planned to perform as 3 Pierrots, but I decided that in addition a Pierrette was needed to intrigue and entrance the male portion of our audience. This in itself was almost unheard of in alfresco entertainments, and risked the further opprobrium of our fellow showmen. Would there be resentment from the old-time buskers towards this new breed of entertainment? Would our novel-sounding banjos prove a sufficient attraction? Could the scheme possibly work at all? The whole responsibility of the venture was mine, and any failure was bound to fall upon my shoulders, but after much discussion and general enthusiasm for the idea all round, it was decided that the Pierrot banjo team was to be an accomplished fact, and we would attend the Henley Royal Regatta that very July. I endeavoured to guard against any failure by making the most careful preliminary arrangements. Running down early to Henley, I first of all chartered a large punt and gave orders that it was to be painted entirely black in time for the regatta. A 10-foot bamboo pole was stuck at each end, and a thin chain slung from one to the other, supporting 8 Japanese lanterns, with one large letter of the word Piero's on each side of them. These letters I cut out of black paper and stuck on. The effect at night was excellent, as the word would be able to be read from a great distance off when the lamps were lighted, thus disclosing our whereabouts. I engaged a smart, reliable river lad to punt us about, and measured him for a complete outfit of white cotton duck, white shoes, and a white straw hat. Everything was to be carried out in black and white, and so spotlessly clean as to satisfy the most fastidious. The next thing was to engage a place from which we could start and make our landing without being mobbed by the curious. Then I had to engage rooms, which during regatta week in those days used to be at a premium. Very comfortable quarters were eventually secured at the Henley Gasworks, who allotted us the company's boardroom as our dining-cum-dressing room. Everything was now quite in order, so there was nothing to do but rehearse and await the all-important week. Down to Henley we went on the Saturday morning before the regatta, for we needed to acclimatise ourselves to the new surroundings and make our presence felt generally throughout the town before it all began on the Tuesday. Added to which, I had taken those gas rooms for a week at a pretty stiff rent, so I thought we might just as well have what fun we could out of it. I had a sinking, wobbly feeling inside, the product of doubt and anxiety. We strolled along the towpath and looked across at the continuous line of houseboats and launches already in their positions on the course. They stretched from the winning post practically to the start, and we wondered which ones would provide our audiences during the forthcoming week. I proposed that we punt down the course that evening in our ordinary clothes, without instruments, and put some of our handbills on board the various craft, so that when their owners came down the next day, they should be startled to see what a novelty was in store for them. This we did, feeling almost like burglars, as we slipped the circulars through the windows or any aperture we found convenient, under cover of dark. On the Monday morning, we strolled about the town and bridge, where I met many of my pals from the London and Thames rowing clubs and confided to them what we were there for. Everyone seemed to think it a great scheme. We decided to go out on the river once again in our ordinary clothes a second night, but this time playing our banjos to give a taste of our quality and to follow up on the circulars we had so furtively left the night before. The first thing that struck me was how excellent the banjos sounded on the water, which gave us all a little confidence and allayed a little my wobbly condition. A short way down the course, we were passing a large houseboat where the party were all sitting out at the end of the boat, having finished dinner. "Won't you come and play to us?" someone said. "With pleasure," we responded, and without more ado our boatswain hung on with his boat hook, while we proceeded to give them of our best. After a while, one of the men said, "Doesn't the hat go round in this entertainment?" Quick as a flash, off came a straw boater, and it was passed on board, then handed back with a very handsome contribution from the company assembled. "We should like you to come to us every night during the regatta," our hostess said. "Delighted," said we, "but we shall be quite differently dressed tomorrow and much nicer." "Oh, but you are very nice, just as you are," said our hostess, which was very charming of her, and a thumbs up for us all. So the name of the boat was promptly written down, and our first engagement booked. The houseboats near at hand had also been able to enjoy our alfresco show, and we noticed many more encouraging smiles as we slowly drifted past. We began to feel quite popular already. We stopped again a little further down the course, where another request for a show was made. This was followed by more contributions to the hat, and eventually we were booked for a paid engagement to present a lunchtime performance on board a large yacht the following afternoon, which was the opening day of the regatta. This was the very thing I wanted, because it gave us a definite right to be on the river performing, and not merely taking chances as the other outdoor performers were wont to do, who as a result would often perform despite, rather than because of, their audience's wishes. The next morning was the opening day of the regatta. We took careful note of the activities of the regular busking fraternity, who strangely appeared to commence their operations directly after breakfast. This showed a complete ignorance of the Henley life, for as anyone who knows the river will tell you, at that time of day, everyone on board their houseboat is busy arranging flowers, cleaning up and preparing the food and supplies in readiness for the arrival of the London contingent. Up until that point, they're entirely disinclined for music or entertainment of any sort. It was a lovely morning, and the town was rapidly filling, the special trains from London constantly discharging their freights of white-flannelled rivermen and dainty feminine loveliness. After an early lunch, we proceeded to the gasworks to don our pristine new Pierrot outfits and get made up. In those early days, we used to make up in the orthodox Pierrot style of white face, black eyebrows, properly heightened eye effects, and red lips. I'd been coached in the correct method and supplied with the necessary ingredients by the very man who'd done the makeup for Mademoiselle Jane May in L'Enfant Prodigue. We used a mixture of bismuth and flake white in a fine powder. Then we had a kind of cosmetique, which we melted in a small saucepan and stirred the powder into it until it was the consistency of thick cream. This was applied as a foundation all over the face and neck. Then, while it was tacky, dry powder was dusted all over it with a big powder puff until it set, dry to the touch, but quite elastic from the grease foundation, so that the movements of one's face didn't crack it at all. The result was excellent. It made a perfect, dead white enamel which intensified every expression tenfold. So after plenty of good-natured chaffing remarks, all four of us were finally ready. Pierrot troupes have subsequently become common enough, but at the time of which I'm speaking, we were the one and only, and I realised that to proceed on foot from our digs to the river through the crowded streets of Henley in our startling garb, before we'd established our identity, would be taking unnecessary chances and might subject us to some indignities. So I chartered a pair of horses and a landau, in which we drove down to the river in state, exciting quite a sensation in the town. We boarded our punt, got the banjos in their leather cases stowed on board, and pushed off into midstream. Never shall I forget my feelings at that particular moment. It was like taking a cold plunge. But realising that there was no going back, I assumed a bravado which I was far from feeling and maintained one fixed, continual smile. I was afterwards to learn that this smile was considered one of my principal Pierrot assets. The first Pierrot troupe had arrived.
Pierrot Hero, the story of Clifford Essex, is abridged and read by Tony Liddington. It's a peer production for the BBC by David Blount. The opening and closing music comes from an original 1914 wax cylinder recording of Clifford Essex and Sid Turner called A Bunch of Rags. And the story continues next week when Clifford and his pioneering Pierrots are a huge success at Henley despite the rain.
Stories to make you smile.
Is Mrs. Arbuthnot your grandmother? Yes. She's wicked. She's not. Her letter is.
Funny stories.
Are those real? No, they're decorative stuffed cockroaches.
The minister lives there, doesn't he?
Yes. Do you know the Hog's Back?
I didn't even know he'd been away.
Intriguing stories.
I think we can safely say that those controlled asteroids are from Mars.
The best drama, the best comedy, the best entertainment. BBC Radio 4 Extra.
The digital station on radio, TV and online. BBC Radio 4 Extra.
Now, with more stories straight from the heart, Izzy Sutty recounts the tale of Mr. Mississippi and his unrequited love Lorna in Izzy Sutty's Love Letters.
to Izzy Sutty's Love Letters. This week it's the story of Mr. Mississippi and Lorna. Hi, I'm Izzy. My show is set in my hometown of Matlock in Derbyshire. Just in case you haven't been to Matlock, the gateway to the Peak District, here's a letter from my mum which will give you an idea of the crazy stuff that goes on there. Dear Izzy, I passed Mavis Richardson on Stony Way today. She was walking briskly downhill and I was walking not quite so briskly up. It's very cold today, isn't it? I called to her. It is, she said. I've had to put my great big coat on. I know, I said. It's ridiculous. Meaning Stupid I'd been. I wasn't the author of It's a Wonderful Life. What right did I have to meddle in people's lives like this? And as she came out with her customary shuffle, I knew that at the end of his song, I'd have to tell him the truth. An act born of love won't necessarily bear love. Only this time, as he closed his eyes and started to sing, she turned and looked at him for the first time, and then moved a lot closer to him than she ever had before.
Lorna, the way you strike that match, the way your fingers glide, what I would give to be that match even if I had to burn until I died.
Jack Haskell, let's go to where your father's waiting.
Oh, no, not yet, please. Wait until the stagecoach leaves.
Well, what is this? Why should we wait?
Marshal, Daddy said that part's very necessary. Oh, he has a horse for you. You can ride that to Trail City. Whatever it is that's happened, believe me, Daddy will need your help.
Jack Haskell, though usually wary, was completely disarmed by the girl's sincere manner and her knowledge of his supposed secret visit. He went to the stagecoach driver and advised the man to go on without him. The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Cause champions are made, not born. Yes, sir. Get on your way. Get on your way. Get on your way with Wheaties.
True, champions are made, not born. We can all get there if we try. Take champion Doak Walker, flashy halfback for the Detroit Lions. Doak, at the tender age of 9, decided football was his line. He practiced hours day after day and learned what champions have to say. Wheaties for breakfast, you're on your way. Now a touchdown team from top to toe. Walker and Wheaties, they really go. A guy can put away a lot of Wheaties in 18 years, and that's how long Doak Walker's been eating them. Good for you? There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. Let's go, Doak. Dig for that goal.
Hey, hey, hey! He's on his way, on his way. He's on his way, on his way. Get on your way with Wheaties. Cause champions are made, not born. Yes, sir. Get on your way. Get on your way. Get on your way with Wheaties. Breakfast of champions.
Now to continue. Haskell and the girl watched the stagecoach leave for Trail City. Then she turned to him.
We'll walk to where Daddy's waiting. I'll leave the horse there.
Miss McCracken, it's dark up here. Are you sure you know where you're going?
Yes, Daddy said. Oh, there he is, see? There's a lantern burning up among the trees.
Oh, yeah. I see horses, too. But where's your father?
Around somewhere.
Marion led the way between the trees to an opening where a lighted lantern rested on a tree stump.
No.
As Haskell stopped, she stepped to one side and yelled.
All right, boys, here he is!
Haskell, alert, reached for his gun. Two guns flamed from the underbrush. As the marshal fell wounded, Cliff Dexter and Django Hewitt leaped into the open, ready to shoot again. But two shots rang out from above. Both outlaws hit, grabbed their arms as their guns fell to the ground. At the same moment, the marshal, writhing on the ground, used his good arm to fire. Django Hewitt fell dead. Then the marshal collapsed. Marion Leslie, panic-stricken, dashed toward her horse as a masked man emerged from the bushes into the perimeter of light.
Stop where you are.
The Lone Ranger fired over her head.
Don't shoot. Stop, please don't kill me.
Now get back here and fast.
A masked man. What do you want?
Pick up the guns your partners, Cliff and Django, dropped. Now, throw them here.
There you are. Django's dead.
He deserves to be. So do you for leading Haskell into this trap.
I didn't know they were going to shoot him. They said they'd merely hold him.
Forget the explanations. Here, Silver.
In response to the Lone Ranger's whistle, the great horse Silver emerged from the underbrush. The Lone Ranger took a medical kit from his saddlebag. Then, as Marion Leslie assisted him, he began to treat the wounded lawman.
There. It's good your pals didn't get better shots at him. Luckily, he's not too badly wounded. You come too soon.
I'm glad.
The Lone Ranger treated Cliff Dexter's wound and left the unconscious man as Marshal Haskell revived.
Marshal, how do you feel?
I'm all right. I You? The Lone Ranger. It was you who shot and saved my life. Where did you come from?
The Lone Ranger, who had given help to Marshal Haskell in an earlier day, told of trailing the outlaws and Marion Leslie. The girl, between sobs, told of her part in the conspiracy against the lawman. She concluded,
And Cal told me that they didn't want Marshal Haskell in town while they were robbing the bank.
What's that?
They said Cliff and Django would hold you here.
Never mind that. What's this about robbing a bank? The girl, still frightened, told what little she knew.
And the holdup will take place sometime after the bank opens this morning. That's at 10 o'clock.
I'll be able to get back there before then.
I'm well enough to ride. I'm going with you.
Good. Miss, who's the man they call the boss?
I don't know. I swear I don't.
Luckily, Tonto's trailing your pal, Cal Bentley. Unless something went wrong, he'll have followed Bentley to the boss's home.
Let's carry Dexter down the relay station. We'll tell them what's happened and then leave Hill Camp.
They found Tonto at the camp. The Indian told the trailing Bentley and...
Kimasabi, me find out where him go when him ride the house of man him call boss.
Did you learn the man's name?
No, but me see him through window, and me know where house is.
Did you learn anything else?
Me follow crook to hideout, then me ride back here. Him still there with plenty more crooks.
Come on, Tonto. We're going to both those places after one more stop. Dr. McCracken's home. Easy, steady. Come on, Silver. Dr. McCracken was astounded when he heard what had happened. He forgot his initial curiosity about the masked man as he said to Haskell,
Marshal, I'm glad you're alive. I can't understand it, though, how those crooks knew you were coming. I told no one about... Wait, I take that back. I told one man. He's a member of the council, a solid citizen.
What's his name, Doctor?
Galt. Hugo Galt. But Hugo wouldn't... He couldn't be involved in anything dishonest.
Well, perhaps not. But listen, Doctor. Tonto, describe the place where you trailed Cal Bentley. Also the man